Rava. Okay, so we're in the middle of the shower sugya, right? That you're not allowed to shower on Yom Tov with hot water, right? So we're Amar Rava. Bottom line, Hi man David Adavar Adarabbanon. So we're going to say something here that's parenthetical, but it's based on
today?
No. Amar Rava. Hi man Davar Adarabbanon Shari L'Miklei Avaryana. A person who's over in a Darabbanon, you're allowed to call him somebody who's over. So if you know somebody is not doing a mitzvah Darabbanon, you're allowed to say about him that he's an Avarian. Right? Meaning it's not just about... What?
What about davening with a minion?
I don't know. That's not an Aveira. Right?
Not listening to Das Torah is an Aveira.
Anyways,
stomach is an Aveira.
Hi, man. You're allowed to call him an Avarian, even though it was only the Rabbanon. Kiman, who is it like? Kihatana, like this Tana that we learned on Erev Yom Tif, Amabatya Shel Krochim, the Tile Behen Ve'ene Choshesh. We said that in a bathhouse of Krochim, of cities, you're allowed to walk through them, and there's no Chashash. Right? And Amar Rava Dafka Krochim, we said only cities, Aval Kfarim Loi, but small towns not. My time, even the Zutrin Nova Shulayo. Since they're small, so there's a lot of hevel there. So what does this have to do with calling somebody an Avarian? Somebody who's over on the Rabbanon, you're allowed to say that he's over on Issurim. Right? So Rashi says that the only reason that it would potentially be assur to walk through a bathhouse is an Issur D'Rabbanan. It's certainly not assur D'Oraisa to sweat up, right? And the Gemara is still saying that that the whole chashash was that the guys are going to say they're going to wash up, and they say that they really didn't wash; they were just sweating, right? And it's only Issur D'Rabbanan. And yet the Gemara still calls it, there's still a chashash of walking through the bathhouse. Okay, so Tanarabana. Now we get back to showering on Yom Tov. A person could first heat his body up, let's say put himself next to a fire, go out and then wash himself in cold water, as long as he doesn't do it the opposite, which is to wash his body in cold, right? Because cold water, we said, is perfectly mutter. Right? So as long as you don't go in cold water and then put yourself next to a fire, right? Because then you're going to warm up the water that's on you, and that's cooking the water on you. Even though the Maisa, it's not gonna get hot enough to be over on Bishul, right? But it's similar to that. Since it's similar to washing in hot water, so therefore they didn't want it. Right? By the way, the Mishnah Ura brings that as a minig that we no longer wash even in cold. Even in cold on Shabbos and Yom Tov, there's no washing in cold at all, which is why many are machmir not to take showers even with cold water on Shabbos and Yom Tov. Ramosha has a tshuva that says if you're really, really hot, then you're allowed to take a cold shower, because this minig of not bathing was bathing, going in a bath, not when you're just showering and pouring the water over you. All right. So how do
people that are makbid on mikvah, men for mikvah, how they approach it then?
And a chanami, so they hold that mikvah takes precedence over this minig. That's what they
If Rav Moshe holds that the minig's only on baths and not showers, and how is this kedai to showers on Shabbos on Yom Tov?
How is it what?
How does this clear up with showers on Yom Tov? If you hold like Rav Moshe, that holds it, it's a bath, that's the Issur, not the shower, and then you're showering on Yom Tov, then how is this a problem?
No, it's not a problem. That's what Rav Moshe is saying.
No, for hot water.
No, hot water you're not allowed to wash with hot water, even if it was warmed up before Yom Tov. Even though that's a different gezer. That's a gezer here. They said there's no washing with hot water, even if it was before Yom Tov. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so Ramesh is only making cold.
But on a bath, though.
No, in the shower too.
Doesn't this all have to do with a bathhouse?
What?
Didn't this all have to do with a bathhouse and a bath?
No, but then they assured any showering at all, any hot water at all. They assured, but hot. Like we discussed it earlier with Kiva, who says even on Shabbos, if the hot water and on Yom Tov, the hot water gets heated up before Shabbos and Yom Tov, and you're just washing yourself in warm water and you're in pain, then you're allowed to take a shower on Shabbos and on Yom Tov if you're in pain. But stop to take hot water that you're not allowed to do. having nothing to do with this minig of not bathing your whole body. Yeah. Okay. So talk about it. Maybe Adam. Sorry, Mecham Adam Aluntis. Right, we're about 6-7 lines down. A person could heat up a towel or anichal gabi me'ayim b'Shabbos and put it onto his stomach on Shabbos if he's having stomach issues. As long as you don't take a bottle of hot water and put it on the stomach on Shabbos. And that's even also to do during the week. It's because of sakana. So now exactly what's wrong with putting on is okay. So besides what the sakana, but what would be the issur on Shabbos? So now we have a Machlokes Rashi Tosfos. Rashi says that the bottle might open up, and therefore you're going to be washing your body with hot water on Shabbos. And Tosfos says then maybe the hot water is going to go on the towel, and it'll go on the towel, and then you'll end up squeezing the towel. All right, comes out the difference between Rashi and Tosfos is if you just put the hot water bottle on your stomach without a towel. According to Tosfos, sounds like it would be okay. According to Rashi. According to Rashi, it would sound like it would be right. It would be assur, and according to Tosfos, it sounds like it would be okay. Okay, turn about it. Maybe a person can take a bottle of water and put it next to a fire. Not that it should get hot. It's just remove some of the coldness. So let's say you take a cold bottle of water. I guess you want to wash with it, and it's freezing. So you want to warm it up. You want to take off. No, I'm sorry. You want to take out the sting. So that's allowed. A woman could bring a bottle of oil and put it also next to a fire. Not because she wants to cook the oil, as long as just to make it, as long as it only gets to warm. A woman could soak her hand in oil, and she could heat it up next to a fire. And she can use it to smear the oil on her small son. Agav, what do you mean? How you take oil and smear it on the body? Isn't that smearing on Shabbos? That's one of the big misunderstandings in halacha. Anything that's pourable, there's absolutely no issur to smear on Shabbos. So you could take oil, baby oil, all this. It's totally liquid. There's no issur whatsoever of smearing that on the body on Shabbos if necessary. People think it's assur. It's only creams that are thick that don't pour. That's assur. But oils is 100% mutter. Unless it's there for healing, then that's a different issur of healing on Shabbos. But assuming you're just doing it to prevent a rash or this or that, then that would be no problem.
Where do people get the idea of watering down the soap for Shabbos?
Because some soap is very, very thick. Like Purell type thickness is debatable whether it's too thick. But dish soap is perfectly fine unless it's extremely thick. I think people just make the mistake between that and some hand soaps are very, very thick. But dish soap does not have to be watered down before Shabbos. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just a mistake that people make, that they think you can't do anything and no smearing. It's only stuff that's thick. So Ibailu, Shem and Mahu. What about oil? Meaning, can you heat up this oil? The Tanakama says water. And then the next Tana, Rabbi Yehuda says you could bring oil. What about the Tanakama doesn't weigh in about oil. He just says water. And then again, the Tanakama says you can heat up water, not heat it up enough to take away the sting. Rabbi Yehuda comes along and says it's about oil. What about the Tanakama's opinion about shemen? Yeah? So shemen mahul Tanakama. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yosef said it's mutter. Rabbi Yitzchak says it's also. They say it's mutter shemen aval b'sheyat soledes, but mutter oil, even if it gets hot to yad soledes, which is very hot. Because shemen ain't by mishum bishul. Oil does not have the characteristics of becoming mavushal. You can't cook oil. Also, Rabbi Yehuda says no, shemen does have bishul. It is you could potentially over on bishul, but just to warm it up, that's not considered bishul. Right? Also, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel lemeimar shemen yesh b'mishum bishul. And then comes along Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel and says shemen does have bishul. If sherer is bishul, and he holds that warm water is bishul. Rabbi Yitzchak says the opposite. The Issur, it's the Issur. Shemen afal pi she'eina yad soledes by assur. Oil, even if it doesn't get to yad soledes, is also kasava shemen yesh b'mishum bishul. If sherer but so bishuloi. Shemen has bishul, and even just warming it up is considered cooked for oil purposes. And comes Rabbi Yehuda to say, no, warming up is not bishul, only getting to yad soledes is bishul. Then Reb Shimon Gamliel comes along and says that oil does have bishul and warming it up is bishul. So now the obvious question is, Reb Shimon Gamliel, Tanakama, Reb Shimon Gamliel and Tanakama saying the same thing. The difference between them is kilachar yad, meaning if you just smear it on backwards, right? So the Tanakama would hold it's the problem, and Shimon Gamliel would hold it's not a problem. Yeah.
How hot is Yad soledes bow again?
Oh, you're machamed to the Gemara. We're going to get to in a minute. Very good. I mean, what's the practical temperature?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's between most say between 108 and 112, 108, 112. There is an opinion that says 145. But we don't usually.
The nursing home guys. The hot water is not allowed to go a certain temperature, or else you get fined.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
okay, there you go.
They don't want the residents to burn their hands with the hot water.
Okay, so that's basically what it says.
What's the number, Paris?
What number is it, Peretz?
Where's Rosenberg? What is it? It's anything above
In
one.
buildings, it's 120.
119. They shut your building down if it goes above.
In buildings, they give you a fine for 120.
Yeah.
I hear. Okay, so then that fits basically with what we're going to say. Because it does cool off the temperature. Where do they test it? Coming out of the tap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's much hotter in the boiler.
So I tell you, it's very interesting. I just put in a new system, and the default temperature is 120 on the hot water.
So okay, so maybe they're all going with 120. Is also the body will be much more sensitive to the heat than the hand, which we're going to see in the Gemara. Let's see in the Gemara. Whether we're talking about oil, whether we're talking about water, and this is the way we paskin. It's going to be yad soledes by is assur, ein yad soledes by mutter, right? If the hand won't get scalded, that's a literal translation. Yad soledes by, and what is yad soledes? Amar Rechava kol shekreisa shel tinok nichves. If the stomach of a baby will get singed from it, that's what it is. Meaning, what the Gemara is saying is that it's very hard to judge with a hand because women who are dealing with a lot of cooking, they can touch things a lot hotter than most men. And that's because their tolerance for heat is much, much higher, right? So using a hand as a barometer is very, very, or a thermometer is very difficult. So that's what we're saying, something that would singe the stomach of a baby. So that's what it is. Most places say 108, 110, whatever. One time I went after Rebbe to the bathhouse, and he asked me to put a jug of oil into the bath. And he said to me, do it in a klisheni, the 10, and then put it in. Meaning he said, I don't want you to put it directly into the bath, because he's assuming that the bath, let's use a mikvah as a mashal, right? So the mikvah has a heater in it. So the mikvah is a kli rishon. So he didn't want him to heat up the oil in a kli rishon. So he said, take the oil, put it, let's say, into a cup, right? Meaning take the oil, take hot water, put it into fill up the cup or fill up a pot, let's say, of hot water from the bath. Now that pot is a kli sheni, and then put the oil into that kli sheni.
I don't understand this Misa. He went to a bathhouse in Tveria on Shabbos, but didn't they all say that don't do it? And then they went to go tell them, and they already ripped up that takana of like doing it.
Yeah,
We're
well, the
taking
Gemara
hot baths on Shabbos.
Well, we don't know if he was going into the bath or he wasn't. Maybe he was going in there just to sweat up or whatever. Right?
Why can't it be a mikvah? You can't go to the mikvah on Shabbos morning?
Well, really, the halacha, no, you can't. Be honest with you. You want to go through the sugya, really, you can't. See them, really, it's very schwer. What they do, going into a hot mikvah is really not simple. Yeah. But let's see how the Gemara plays out, right? But anyway, the main point here is, and this is a taisus, this is probably about the most important taisus in Shas, right? It says, take it in a klisheni. But 10, Shma mino tla. So I heard three things from this. Shma mino shemen yesh ba mishum bishul. So I hear from this that oil obviously has a problem of bishul. Otherwise, why would you be worried about it cooking or not? Shma mino klisheni einim mevashel. And we hear that a klisheni is not mevashel. Because otherwise, why would he tell him to take the water from the mikveh and put it into a pot and then put the oil into there. And he's saying, and warming it up would also be considered bishul, because there's no way this thing is going to get hot enough to be, no way this thing is going to get hot enough to get yad soledes. So it's just going to get warm, and that would be the bishul. Now, so kli sheni is not mevashel, right? Everybody knows kli sheni, a hin and a her, right? What's the pshat that kli sheni is not mevashel? Tois v'shmamino, we have to see this toises. Very important. V'shmamino kli sheni ain't mevashel. Okay, the third toises down, or the second toises from the bottom. Yeah, very important toises. Tema, toises asks, ma'ishna kli sheni v'kli rishon. What's the difference kli sheni and kli rishon? Di yad soledes afilu kli sheni nami. If it's yad soledes, even a kli sheni too, meaning who cares if it's in a kli rishon or a kli sheni? If it's boiling hot, right? Let it be in a kli shlishi revi. Who cares? It's the same temperature. And if it's not yad soledes, then it doesn't cook in a kli rishon either, right? Right. The simple kasha everybody asks. Anybody who hears Hilchos Shabbos says, "Well, I don't understand. If it's the same temperature in a kli rishon as it is in a kli sheni, so then why doesn't it cook in a kli sheni?" Right. So yesh laimos, the Tosfos answers lefisha kli rishon v'toisha amar ala or, since the kli rishon was on top of the fire. Meaning, let's say, using the most common application, the urn is on top of the electric, so it's heated up in the actual, that pot is on the actual fire. So the fnois of chamin, therefore the walls of the pot get hot themselves. And they hold on to the heat for a long time, even when you take the pot off the fire. That's why they gave you a measurement that as long as it's yad soledes in the original pot that it was cooked in. And the reason is because the heat, the strength of the heat holds it for a lot longer. So therefore they said yad soledes. But a kli sheni afal gav the yad soledes by, even though it's the same temperature as the water in the kli rishon, it's mutter she'ein doifnois of chamen b'hoylachum miskar. Since the walls of the kli sheni are not hot, and therefore it's going to cool down the water, meaning it's still yad soledes, but it's going to take away some of the strength of the intensity of the heat. Again, the main point is saying the difference between kli rishon and kli sheni is defanes mikara, is the walls, meaning when you take from the urn, the water is yad soledes. Now when you put it into a cup, that cup is cold. So that cup, because that cup is cold, that automatically reduces the intensity of the heat from the kli rishon. That's why kli sheni is not mevashel. Right, even though it's still yad soledes, there is a reduction of the intensity of it. Okay, Ramosha Feinstein has a wild chiddush, and this is for anybody that only has one sink in the house. He says that when you're washing dishes, even if it's hot water, even if it's hot in the yad soledes, which is very rare, because then otherwise how are you washing the dishes unless you have on gloves, rubber gloves. But he says as long as you have a little bit of cold water, then that cold water cools down the intensity. He's saying if the kli sheni, the walls of the kli sheni cool it down. So kol shekin, if you have cold water flowing through with the hot water, is going to reduce the intensity, and therefore it can't trafe up anything if you wash hot dishes. I rely on this Ramosha a lot whenever the questions come through with the boiling hot water with the dishes. Just say, was there any cold water on? Or when somebody moves into a house with only one sink, you say, just make sure you always have cold water on, and then you'll never have any sink shilas. Anyways, but that's the difference between kli rishon and kli sheni. It's called tefanos mekaros. Those are the two words you get from the Tosfos, but that's about as famous a Tosfos as you'll get in Shas. Okay. Weiter in Gemara. So Heichi Avid Hachi, around 12 lines up. Heichi Avid Hachi. How did he do this? Right, the Gemara is saying, goes off on a tangent here. In every place, it's more to think in Torah, except in a bathhouse and in a bathroom. So how did he go tell him halacha to put it into a kli sheni? Or how did he tell him not to do it? Whatever it was that he was telling him, he's telling him halacha in the bathhouse. And if it's because he told it to him in English, meaning he obviously wasn't English, but it wasn't in Hebrew, right? And if it's because he told him you're allowed to talk mundane things even in Lashon Kodesh, but Shal Kodesh also Lashon Chol. But Torah, Kodesh, you're not allowed to say even if it's in English. Right? So how did he go tell him halacha in the bathhouse? The Gemara answers, he wasn't telling him halacha, he wanted him not to do an Issur. So therefore, he told him, use it in a cliche. And he told him the halachas properly, so he wouldn't be over on Bishul on Shabbos. Teda, how do you know? Dam Rabbi Yehuda Mashmuel Ma'aseh b'Talmidish Rabbi Meir shenichnas achal b'Beis HaMerchus. The Talmidim Rabbi Meir went after him into the Beis HaMerchus, Bikush Ladiach Karka, and they wanted to wash the floor in the bathhouse on Shabbos. And he told them, Ein Madichin, you're not allowed to wash. Lasach le Karka, and they wanted to just smear it with whatever it is, right? Amarloi ain't sachin, you don't do it. Alma, so you see what he told him halacha in the bathhouse. Alma ifrusha meisura shani. Therefore, you see, separating somebody from Issur is different, and you're allowed to say that in the bathroom. So here too, by the bathhouse with heating up the oil, Rebbe was allowed to tell him not to do it. So therefore, if you're in the bathroom and you hear somebody doing an Issur, you're allowed to yell out the halacha. That's what comes out from here, because you're not teaching halacha. You're just making sure somebody's stopping to do, and you're stopping somebody from doing an Issur.
Where are you?
My mother's house.
On the daf.
I know. 5 lines up from the bottom. 6 lines up from the bottom now. Omar Ravina. Mem on the base. Yeah, so Omar Ravina. Shmami no. Yeah, this is now perfect, Simon, because this is exactly what you were asking. Omar Ravina Shmami no. Hamavashal b'chamei tveria b'Shabbos chayiv. You see from this that if you mavashal and chamei tveria on Shabbos, you cook with chamei tveria on Shabbos, you chayiv. The ma'aseh of the Rebbe la'achar gezeira hava. Right, like Simon asked, this was after the Gezerah. V'amarlei told the klisheni, said put it into a klisheni, the tain, and put it in there. Yeah. So you see that he was worried about chamei tveria, which is natural heat, not from fire, cooking. So when it says, "Any, it's not true." V'amar Rav Chisda mavasha b'chamei tveria b'Shabbos potter, is potter. So what's a pshat? So my chayiv nami dekamar makas mardus. When he said chayiv, he didn't mean you chayiv a korban. He meant you chayiv makas mardus, which is the Rabbanan de Malchus, if you're ever under the Rabbanan. So Amar Rav Zeira, Anach Zeisi Rabavo, the Shot Bambati, I saw Rabavo that he was swimming in the shot means he was floating. Bambati, Ambati is in a bath. And I don't know if he uprooted his feet from the ground of this bath or not. Pshita de loyakar, it's pasha that he didn't lift up his feet. The tani loyashad anu bricha malaya ma'im afilu emelis b'chatza. A person is not allowed to swim in a pool of water, even if it's in his own yard. Right? This is where the Issur comes to swim. Right? You're not allowed to swim on Shabbos, even if it's a cold pool. You're not allowed to swim. Now, the reason why he says afilu b'chatza is because if it's not in a chatzar, it's like a public pool. So when you splash the water out of the pool, you're taking water from Rosh Hashanah, splashing it into Rosh Hashanah. And here we're saying you're not allowed to swim in a pool, even if it's your own chutzah, which will not. There's no gezeira of carrying. So either way, he must not have picked up his feet, because as long as your feet are on the floor, that's not swimming, right? If once you lift off your feet off the floor, then that's swimming. So what was his question? He didn't know if he lifted up his feet. He wasn't going to be over on Issur, so of course he didn't lift up his feet. So when it says loikasha, had the less legidude, had the is legidude, and a lot of people know this Gemara and they use it as a scam to go swimming. One is talking about where there was no walls, and one is talking about where there were walls. So he's saying when there's no walls, so we're afraid that he's going to go up to the side of the pool or whatever it is and grab a tree to hold onto so he doesn't drown. But if it has a wall, then he could grab onto the wall, right? Then there's no problem of him of the gezerah of him making a raft on Shabbos.
My daughter,
right?
My daughter just asked a question. She heard that you can't swim on Shabbos for drying off, which is what I heard too. I didn't know that you couldn't just swim on Shabbos.
No, right? No. So the drying off part is the gezerah we talked about before of not bathing at all. That was the minig. Yes, that is true. She's right. If that was the minig of even going into a bath is out the drying off. This is swimming. It's a different gezerah also, because they were afraid if they would allow you to swim in a river which is cold, right? Then we're afraid that you were going to either splash or you're going to go grab onto some trees and make yourself a raft on Shabbos.
It has nothing to do with Uvda Dechol?
Nothing to do with Uvda Dechol. You could throw that in there too if you want.
Uh-huh.
But that's the Issur things. No, the Issur reason is because you might make a raft, right? Or there's also, you might put your feet into the ground and mess around with the with the dirt, right? The top Rashi goes through this, right? Okay, right. The rest of the Gemara is pretty easy. What time is it? I think we could do the next blot in around 15 minutes if you really want. Then we don't have to do tomorrow. Look how short the Amud is on Amud base. Right? But it's up to you, right? It's not. This next Gemara is easy.
Where's
good.
the regular blot up to?
Today's Mem Aleph. No.
I think so. I looked on Old Daf. It said Mem Aleph when it came up.
Today is Mem Aleph. Today's Mem Aleph, but even if we don't catch up, look, Mem Gimel and Mem Dalet are very small. So we could catch it up by Motzei Shabbos, Sunday for sure. Sunday for sure we could catch it up.
Well, I'm okay with doing the next blot if Yossi gives us all his pizza.
Yeah, well, Yossi, pass it around. What about tomorrow afternoon?
By the way.
Y'all, where'd you get pizza?
Someone brought me from Fialicos. Delicious.
Son of a gun.
Where? From Seasons?
Yeah.
All right. My kids were wondering if they're open.
Yeah, oh yeah. Churning out pies.
Yaakov, you want to go pie for pie?
The way, not tonight, man. If you should, in the beginning of this year. If you want to do tomorrow, I don't mind doing tomorrow 6:30, whatever it is. Doesn't bother me. It's up to you.
What do we do tomorrow?
Marchuk's out.
Kaplan, I can't breathe without you on my back.
Whatever you guys want to do. Or you can watch a record. Can somebody else give an opinion here?
I'm okay with tomorrow.
I'm okay with tonight, man.
I'm good for tomorrow.
It's 3 hours early for me. I'm fine with tonight.
Oh, it's already after Yom Tov there?
I missed most.
So
I
was
missed
deciding.
most. Yes, I
What?
Erev Shabbos is a lot tougher.
You haven't given me a heter to log on Yontif yet.
No, I did not. No, I did not give you a head.
I think I like the 6 o'clock tomorrow.
6?
6, yeah.
6 a little early, no? I mean, I don't care.
Make early
6?
Shabbos.
No, we're
Some
not
of us
doing
don't-
early Shabbos. That we're not doing.
What is
Fridays
that?
are
Some of
very
us
hard
don't
for
have
me.
the luxury
I'd
of
love to
making
keep
early
going.
Shabbos. Yeah.
Okay, so whatever you guys decide.
I don't care. It doesn't make a difference to me. Okay, let's go through it. Okay, Simon, you said tomorrow.
Oh.
No way.
You
I
want
said
today?
let's bust it out, man. I don't care. This is great.
Chelsea Katz, you want?
I'm okay, but I'm okay tomorrow, but it has to be later. It can't be like not early Shabbos time. Who's making early Shabbos? You're staying at home by yourself. Who's making early Shabbos?
Peretz,
I want to do more now.
Marchuk, we know his. Harold, he's there, Harold? Wow.
I'm
ready to
good.
join
I'm happy.
Liner, Napoli?
I'm good with anything.
I'm better for tomorrow, I think. I'd rather help my wife now.
Toby Langer?
Whatever you guys do.
Isn't today's Daf Mem Aleph?
Yes,
It's finished already.
that's true. I was wondering that.
I said, okay, we'll go for tomorrow 6:30, no?
6:30?
So how we gonna catch?
Yeah,
We
let's
do
do it tomorrow then.
Perfect.
Fine. We'll do 6:30 tomorrow. That's all.
Okay.
Mem Aleph tomorrow.
What? Mem Aleph tomorrow, 6:30. We'll try and do part of Mem.
Marchuk, by then maybe you can have Fialko's pizza for everybody.
My daughter
My
just showed me
backyard is open.
the line is way around the corner. Around the corner, the line to get in there.
I saw.
I hope social distancing, right?
I
That's
hope.
Yaakov.
The
Okay,
cops
since the
already
line's around the corner,
unflappers.
let's do more tonight. Then we'll get after share.
So Yaakov.
Yes, sir.
I was catching up on some missed Gemaras yesterday. The Maisa with Rishon Bar, the famous that him and his son ran to the cave, right? So the Rebbe Shalom made a nace and he sent over the tree and the stream, right? For that he made a nace out of nowhere. But what's pshat that the clothing he couldn't make a nace for? Like why there and not there?
Yes, somebody asks that. Somebody asks that. I don't remember now.
Especially because
you have any answer?
he brought Sar to the tzaddik. Because his skin was all messed up after that.
Right. So yes, didn't one of the guys ask that question? I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. Somebody asked it. Ich weiß nicht. I don't know. I don't. I don't have a good
When you
answer.
say
to that.
someone asks, you mean someone on shear or someone in this in
Could be
Mepharshim?
both. You think I remember?
Wow, we're on the same level as Mepharshim. That's pretty good.
There you go. You listen. Everybody has the chelik in Torah.
There we go. All right, let's just keep our pants on.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Have a good
Don't
night.
stand up. Don't stand up.
Good night.
Okay. Good night.
No, have a good night. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. I get in Zimmer.